took me years to figure out, through much writing and introspection, that this was the way I learned. I had to learn how I learned. I also learned to celebrate the early successes along the way and why that's so important. I'll give you an example. Swimming. Mom, this is the story I told you I was going to tell you. This is their first time hearing this bit. I was at my babysitter's house. My babysitter's son strapped me into my water wings, picked me up. I was 4. I was still quite portable. And threw me in the deep end. Oh. Swim. That left me slightly scared of the water. Fortunately, my parents had an awesome idea. Swimming lessons at the Central Y, of which I'm still a member. Lesson number 1. We got in the pool, hung on to the shallow end, put our face in the water, and blew bubbles. Blew bubbles. Lesson 2. Hanging on to the edge still. Kick. And kick. And kick some more. Get used to kicking. Get used to floating. Kicking. Lesson 3. We take the blowing bubbles. We take the kicking. Put them together. It's flutterboard time, baby. The lifeguard handed me the flutterboard. What I want you to do is swim 3 meters to that lifeguard and then come back to me. Okay. Hung on to that flutterboard for dear life and swam that 3 meters, kicking all the way. Good. Now come back. Swim back. Swimming 3 meters. Then lesson 4, swimming 6 meters, swimming 9 meters, swimming 12 meters. This one's heavy. Remember, lift with your legs. Getting rid of the flutterboard. One by one, we solved the unhandled exceptions and built a skill set. Don't get me wrong, the fear of drowning, that's still there. But I've got the skill set to deal with it because we solved swimming one unhandled exception at a time. But there was one more key to my learning, one that I didn't realize until many years later. Think back to the way that I learned before. I don't get it. I'll never get it. Why did they get it? That quickly led to thoughts of frustration, which then fed into, I'll never swim. I'll never program. I'm not a math person. I'm not athletic. One day, as I was learning a new skill, getting a little bit frustrated because I wasn't picking it up immediately, I thought about my psychology textbooks. Stopped, took a breath, as we did earlier, and tried a new question. How can I? After all, I've been a consultant to Fortune 500 companies, governments, universities. I've watched as huge projects spanning many years, planned to the nth degree, blow up spectacularly. Just ask anyone on the Phoenix payroll system. For some people, I feel like that hit a little too close to home. Yet the small projects, the ones around the margins, the ones where we snuck a little of the budget to solve this little problem, those were the most successful. So I thought, let's try learning this skill not by solving the universe at once, but by solving a little problem. And so I did. I recently applied it to learning how to play the ukulele. Seems to be a theme at MoMondays. Play the C chord. Get the hand motions right. Play the G chord. Get the hand motions right. Let's put them together. C, G. One by one, I learned how to play the ukulele a little bit at a time. And just changing that way that I think. Because go to any psychology textbook. In fact, read Dr. Robert Cialdini's Influence. This guy he's figured out a roadmap of the human brain. And it's a very easy book to read. If you think a certain thought, at least if I do, our minds are great confirmation bias machines. So if I think negative thoughts, my brain's going to find a path that links the two negative thoughts. I'm never going to learn this. I can't swim. But if I deliberately try and force the positive thought over here, how can I? Suddenly I'm playing 4 chords of the ukulele. I'm not hosting a concert. I'm not up to the skill of the ukulele. But I'm playing the ukulele, so who cares? That line of thinking was the key that unlocked the potential that so many had seen in me. It's what's allowed me to go from being afraid of the pool to it being an escape. I love swimming underwater. I went from not being a math person at all to doing calculus for fun. I went from not being athletic, being 250 pounds and saying, I'm not athletic, I've got cerebral palsy, to being athletic in spite of the fact that I've got cerebral palsy. In fact, today, at my group power class at the Y, I had the most on my bar the whole time. A couple of months ago, I was shaking like a twig lifting 10 pounds. That thinking has led me from fearing the world and not knowing if I could make it to having that self-confidence and actually loving myself. And that's why I've learned to love the unhandled exceptions, because that's how I build myself up in life. I'm Elias Puurunen. The last 30 years have been amazing. Here's to another 200 more.